most beautiful Samantha Jade is in the studio with her beautiful nails.
Oh, yes, I just had my nails done. Thank you for complimenting them. Their shape is new for me.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
And you don't normally do like fake nails or anything?
No, I literally, so I just get gels usually.
Yeah.
My nails have been breaking off, so weak. And then one of my friends goes, have you done Bilab? And I'm like, oh, what is this? Because
Have you done Botox?
Yeah, exactly. There's always something new, right?
Bilab, yeah.
I was like, Bilab, no. She goes, try it. This is my first Bilab and I'm loving it.
Well, you have now made me want to try
yes,
that.
okay, good. This is how it works.
Yeah. I am so excited that you're here. I almost feel like we have so much in common.
Yes,
it's
me
weird
too.
that we don't know each other.
So weird. I find that so weird.
Because they're like in the same sort of world, and we're only like 3 years difference, or like 2.5 or something like that years difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we didn't cross. Maybe we did cross paths.
I feel like it's maybe like we did, but maybe it was like you were there and I was here, or like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I moved to LA, hearing your name so much. And did you put out a song?
Yeah, many.
Yeah. And
they must have been so great.
Few, but at that time, I mean, like at
2017 was when I put out. Maybe no, 2004. That was when Pointless Relationship came out.
Yes, because that song, I remember, because that's when I moved.
Yeah, you moved in 2004.
Yeah, people were like, do you know Tammin? And I was like, no, but I was such a fan.
That's so funny.
And I got told I looked like you.
We do look alike.
Oh my gosh, biggest compliment.
I mean, your
ever.
skin's probably a little nicer than mine.
No way. But I was like, oh my God, I look like Tammin. So I was like, that is huge.
But we were so young.
Oh my
God. I mean,
God,
when I was like looking up your story, and I knew a bit of it, but not all of it, when you went to, so one of your friends sent in a demo to a producer in LA when you were like young. You were 14?
Yeah, I was 14. Yeah, it's crazy to think now. And then that tape, like, this is, do you remember Rumba?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, oh my God, you probably actually did it. I was always like wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And I remember it came to Perth, and like Perth, like, you know, nothing comes to Perth. So when something comes to Perth, people are like, oh my God, it's coming to Perth. And there was an opportunity for someone to be the opening act.
Wow.
And you had to send a tape in. And I sent a tape in. And it was that tape that somehow made its way to LA.
Yeah.
So random.
But then your whole family moved there.
Yeah.
That is such a big, you know, my family too, when I was younger, in Home and Away, they were so supportive. And I think that if I said I want to go to LA, they would have done that too.
Yeah.
But that's a huge jump for a family and a family dynamic. And were you in school?
Yeah. So I was in I was about to be in year 11. So I was 10. Yeah. Yeah. And my parents, though, I'm very lucky because my mum was a dancer. She was like a ballet dancer and loved dancing. And then she kind of wanted to, I think, always kind of do more in that field. And my dad played footy and he wanted to do more.
Wow.
But their parents, not that they didn't believe in them, they did. They just didn't have the means to kind of support as much. And both of them, my mum was from Scotland, my dad's from India.
Wow.
So they didn't have a lot of big family out here. So my parents were always like, we're going to support her dreams all the way. And so it was really amazing. And they also knew how it would be to go to America and have no family because they both didn't have their big families.
And
so,
then when you moved there, though, because I know that trip, so do you just buy a one-way ticket to LA?
Yeah, it was a one-way.
You just like luck. Whatever date it was, one way with all your suitcases.
Yeah,
and a dream and a hope that it was going to turn out. Where did you stay when you first got there? Because I stayed at the Grafton. Do you know? Do you know the Grafton?
Yeah, we
on
do,
Sunset.
Because people always stay there. Yeah. I stayed. So when I first went there, I stayed. You'll know this place, the Oakwood.
Yes,
that's the other one that everyone always stays at.
Near Studio City.
Yep.
That's
right
like where all. If people don't know that, it's where all like the young entertainers or actors, they put them up there.
That's right. They put me up there, and I remember it was close to Universal Studios, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Because, you know, being from Australia, you're like, LA's movies, it's the Hollywood, it's not
your
real.
life is going to change.
It's going to change.
Well,
I'm going to be discovered at the cafe. Like, you know.
I'm going to be a star, baby.
A star, exactly. And I was like, oh, God, this is going to happen for me. And then, like, you know, cut to the year later, they're like, you need to go back. Nothing's happened. I'm like, oh, God. But you know how it is. It's so hard. It's a tough city.
So when you actually moved, you were 17?
Yeah, no, 16.
16, okay. Yeah. And then when you got there, you were recording your own songs, but you were also writing for other artists, even that young?
Yeah, so when I first went there, I was kind of shopping a deal and I was writing in heaps of studios and, you know, always hoping to get my own songs out there. And I remember I wrote this song I was in a studio writing for myself, and this guy came in and he's like, we'd love for you to actually, if you don't mind, finish this chorus for us on this song.
Wow.
I was like, okay, great. And so he goes, oh, it's for a movie. Do you want to see the scene? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And it's this animated movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is like real big budget, like real big time.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's the actor? They're like, Will Smith. I was like, sorry? This is huge. And it was for Shark Tale.
Oh,
and the song ended up getting placed on JoJo, who's like one of the best singers.
I did a movie with her, yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
She is the best singer. My God, her voice.
It's what happened to her, because she was so, I mean, I know
so
she's still out
talented.
there, but she should have been like the next Beyonce. Like she was
I know.
so good, so young.
So good. Like the control of her voice. And I remember going to the studio and just listening to her record it, being like, I just am a sponge. Like she's so talented. And she's younger than me too. So talented. Anyway, all of that to say, that got me a placement. Then I got a publishing deal. So then I started to write music.
Right.
And then I got my record deal after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you feel like when you were writing for other people, because when you're 17, I mean, I'm different now that I'm older.
Yeah.
I used to think, like, why not me, right? You kind of, you have more of an ego.
Totally.
And you feel like you're going to be the next hottest thing. So you're writing for other artists who are recording your songs and they're becoming hits. And did you ever feel like, wait a second, that's not fair. Like, these are my songs. I want to be singing them.
Absolutely. Especially with that one, because I really loved the song. And I was like, wait, so she's going to sing it? Absolutely. Oh my God. And there was another Ashley Tisdale song that I did that got placed on her. And I was like, oh. But then, you know, what I did learn young is that songwriter, singer, totally different hats.
Right.
And that was really interesting because, you know, I was like, oh, okay, being a songwriter, that's the point. You know, you put songs on other artists. But yeah, I've gotten very much better at that now. I reckon with age, you just have to.
You just do.
Yeah.
And then you get signed to Jive Records.
Yeah.
And you're in LA for how long before you leave?
10 years.
And your parents don't stay there for the whole time. When do they move back?
They moved back when I turned 21.
Okay.
They were like, see ya, good luck.
That's what happened to me. My dad was in London. He's like, I love you, goodbye. And I was like, wait, what? You're going to have to drive on the other side of the road? Like, wait, what?
God, just take care of yourself in general. Like, hang on.
So you were there at 21, which I was there around the same time too.
So weird we didn't meet.
I mean, LA, you must have so many stories in LA. I mean, LA is a crazy place.
Crazy place, especially when you're younger and you don't have you know, the ability to say no like you do now.
Yeah.
So you're going to everything, you're doing everything. And so many stories and so many, I mean, you know, the heartbreak, I'm sure that it's a tough city. It's tough. When you're doing really well, you're doing really well.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're not, you're not. And
people say, you know, unless you're in this business, you don't really know, know this feeling. But in Los Angeles, in America, the one thing I do love about it is, like, you can be anything you want to be.
Yes.
You could be homeless one day and a star the next.
Totally.
And everyone wants to invest in you because they see something in you.
Yep.
And they sit down with you and they say, you're going to be the next best thing. And and you believe it, right?
Oh, totally.
And then when it doesn't happen, it's almost like you kind of have this bullshit radar for everyone. You're just like, and then you start to, I feel like it's probably unhealthy, but you start to feel negatively about the whole experience. And then you start to be bitter. Did you ever feel bitter at some point in Los Angeles?
Oh God, yeah. I got really bitter towards the end. So like I lost my deal and then I kind of, after losing my deal, just couldn't get signed, couldn't get demos even. So I would, because they would be like, if we put your voice on it, people won't take the song because they'll think it's a reject from your record. And so I was like,
because your voice is so,
because your voice, is like memorable, you know, and they know it's you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, because that's all I can really do, right? So that sucked. And then I was like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Music is what I do here. And I started singing on Glee. So I'd do the background vocals for Glee. Wow. So that was cool. But it's always that thing of like, I don't want to be behind.
Of course you don't. And you seem like a very sweet, what's your star sign?
I'm an Aries.
I love Aries. You seem such a sweet, but I would have been, you know, I remember once I used to do like stage and theater and this one woman came up, like a mother came up to my mother and said, you know, Tammin just has to be okay being part of the chorus. Wow. And my mom said, she'll never be okay with that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And it's not that I don't want to be like a part of something, and like be like a game player, but I never wanted to be part of the chorus.
You wanted to be the lead, yeah. And I'm the same way. Like I was asked to be in a girl band, and I was like, I don't want to do it because I want to be the lead, and I know myself, you know, like. Yeah, I totally get that. And that's really something that's really kind of frowned upon, and it shouldn't be.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
The fact that you want to succeed, especially as a woman, and be front and center, it's like, well, she just needs to like be less big, less bold, have less opinions, less bossy.
Oh yeah.
Don't speak up for yourself. And especially us when we were in LA.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, I mean, how much misogyny, and there's,
oh my God.
I mean, I'm writing a book right now and I thought, well, the Me Too movement didn't affect me. And I was like, wait, that dinner and then this dinner and this experience. And it's like, I was very lucky to never be sexually abused. But there's like versions of that that's very undercurrent, hidden, that sort of pulsates through the whole industry that you don't think is affecting you until you really think about it.
Absolutely. I'm not writing a book, but
you should.
Yeah. When that all started coming out and happening, I was like, wow, that's exactly what you said. Not to that degree, but yeah, my God, so many meetings, so many moments, so many passing comments that you're like, that wasn't actually okay, or studio sessions where people get a little close and you're like, that's actually not cool. I know I think we were in a time that it was kind of passed off as like if you say something that you're the problem.
And it's like even though you feel like you're the victim, it's like you're not, you're the one who pushed it on them because you wore a certain outfit.
Oh my God.
Because you wore a short skirt, then you were asking for it.
Oh, and that's so much in our industry, don't you reckon? Because we wear costumes.
Yeah.
You know, so when we're on stage, it's like, well, I want to dress like a character when I'm on stage.
Right.
Obviously, me, Sammy, normal daytime, like you see when I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I still think it's sexy.
Thank you, I'll take it. But when I do performances, I want to wear show outfits, right? You become a persona. And I remember actually being told that once. I can't remember who it was by, but like, well, you know, you're basically asking for it on stage. No, well, no, because I'm becoming a character.
And also, why aren't I also allowed to feel sexy from me?
Totally.
And why aren't I allowed to dress the way my body feels comfortable, whether that's in a t-shirt or a short skirt? Like, why is that not okay? Like, why do I have to be subjected then to comments and wolf whistles?
Yeah.
You know, because that's just been accepted in our society.
Oh yeah, I know it's a lot to, and you really dive deep into it. It's a lot to think about, and I think you're so right that there's been so many experiences that you're like, wow. Sometimes I think for me, I'm like, I wish I would have maybe said something in that moment, or you know,
you can't though.
But you can't, and it's too far gone now. But I didn't feel like I could back then, because you'd be like, oh, I don't want to mess this opportunity up, or I don't want to not be in this room, or you know.
And did you ever feel like you dated anyone in LA that you were like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be dating them, but maybe they could help me? I mean, there's so much of that. Like,
there's so much.
It's a fine line.
That's the one thing I'm such a square. I've only had like 2 long-term relationships, and in LA I had a boyfriend the whole time.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I dated
every Matthew on the no, it was every Michael from Vine to La Cienega who was a doorman. I'm like, yep, dated him. Dated him.
That's fine. Experience is great.
I was just trying to get into the club, Sam.
Yeah, I get it. Get on the list. Oh my God, that's why I could never.
No one wants to wait in line.
Absolutely not, especially not there. I mean, I had the same boyfriend. I met him in Sweden, and then we dated until I came back here. So I was really lucky in that regard. He was in the industry too. So I've had really good men in my life. My brother's a really good man. My dad's a great man. So I've been really lucky there.
So when you say Sweden, I was in Sweden to record music. Is that where you went?
Yep, that's how I met
him. Did you go
him.
during winter?
Yeah. Oh no, I've been in winter, but it was summer when I recorded the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you work with like Max Martin?
Yeah,
and
that's how I
worked.
Oh my God,
we were in the same place.
How did we not know each other?
So weird.
Max,
I probably recorded.
amazing.
Maybe I recorded some of the songs that you demoed.
Yeah. Oh my God, maybe.
I bet.
And did you go to that studio he had, Maratone? Yeah. How crazy.
You know, one thing is, and I talk about this in the book. I don't know if anyone knows this, but they gave me that song. Do you remember Dancing on My Own?
Oh my God, the Robin song?
Yeah,
I love Robin.
She used to demo before she was an artist.
Yes, I know.
And Dancing on My Own, they gave that to me. And I was like, no.
I didn't like it.
I was like, that's not going to be a hit. I was like, it doesn't fit my persona.
Oh my God, I totally get it though. I totally get it.
And I passed on that song.
I get that. I understand. There's some
and it
songs
was
I've
so
passed
huge.
on.
And then she became and she was probably like you going, I want to be front and center. I don't want to be, not that you don't want to be doing the demos, but
No,
that's like a
it's true.
side thing, but I want
Yeah.
to be front and center.
God, Robin. Wow, I love her so much.
She's so great.
Obsessed
I'm
with
glad
all
I
her music.
passed because the song now is really maybe the
works.
song would never have been so big.
Yeah, you have to believe that things are written. I really think that sometimes. Oh my God, that's so cool though that you worked with Max as well.
Yeah.
Were you like, oh my God, Max Martin?
Yeah, I mean, you're so young and like you go Britney, you know, I think that because you kind of have that ego when you're younger. You're just like, oh, they worked with Britney Spears and me. That seems fitting, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But I think now I'd be like, you know, pooping my pants.
Yeah.
But the whole Sweden thing, there was all like a whole setup back there.
Oh God, yeah. I remember, because I was kind of, this was kind of towards the end of my recording era and my Jive deal, and they were like, we're going to send you to work with Max, and I was like, hang on, what?
Max Martin.
Yeah, because I was like, he's written some of the best songs of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember thinking, because I love Britney, always have.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were signed to the same label. Like, I was like, surely I'll run into a short.
And surely I'm the next Brit.
Of course.
Of course.
And I was like, I'm going to meet her. I'm going to meet. Never did. But I remember walking into the Max to Maratone, and I was like, waiting for him to like, you know, come and say hello. And then he just walks in and he's got this little backpack on. He's so unassuming and so cool and chilled. And he's like, hi, I'm Max. And I was like, oh, he's Max. I was expecting this big, you know, spectacle. And he's just so cool and sweet and so talented. And I just remember leaving that trip being like, and I worked with Bloodshy who did Toxic as well. I remember leaving being like, that is an experience I will never forget. Just recording with him and how cool that is going to be for my life. Like I understood how cool that was.
Did you record just because there's other Swedish producers and teams there that also did a lot of Britney stuff? Yes. Did you record all over?
I think I did mostly Max and Rami at the time. And then I did, Bloodshy and Avant. And Anders Bag, I think his name was.
I did Anders?
Anders,
yeah. He's now in LA, goes to my kid's school. Like,
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes. I kind of did, a few of the sessions. But I just think Sweden knows pop.
They do.
They are just so next level with pop music. Like, the melodies, and they're so incredibly talented. Yeah.
So do you remember, so you're 21 to 25.
Yeah.
And then, because I remember leaving Australia and then so I left the UK when I was 21. They were about to release my album in the UK. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a singer. Because I think I always wanted to do music, but acting was always my passion. That was like my first and foremost.
Yes.
So I was like, no, I have to go to the States. And I remember that moment. I woke up, it was like a God shot moment. And I thought, what am I doing? Like I have to go to the US, 2 suitcases, and I never came back, but now we're living in both places. But for like a long time I was in LA. Do you remember that moment where you were like, I have to go home? Like I have to go home.
I actually really do. I had a meeting. So I was kind of like, I knew it was coming, you know. I was like, it's coming. The wall's coming. I was like, it's coming, but I don't know when. And I had a meeting. I had a really tough time getting a meeting. And I'd finally like gotten this meeting with this guy who had kind of been someone in the industry that had kind of known me. And I went in and I played him like some demos. And he stopped, you know, they play the demos and they stop. Yeah, and you're like, oh my God, what are they going to say? Yeah. I'm like, it's either going to be good or bad. And he goes, your voice, he's like, it's so memorable. Your tone is so memorable. You're a great singer. I actually think you could really stand up and sing against anyone. And I'm like, this is going really well. I'm like, thank you so much.
I'm a star.
Oh, yeah. And I'd been so broken at that point that I needed a compliment.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you. He goes, but I don't know, there's something about your tone just doesn't say star to me. And I remember I'd had this outfit on. I had no money, and I'd gone to H&M in the Beverly Centre, massive H&M, and spent my last like $50 on these little shorts and this shirt that were on sale. And I remember sitting there in this little outfit, being like, "It's not it. It's not going to work. It's over." And I was like, that was it. I knew in that moment. I was like, because I can't do this anymore. And I remember I went back to my apartment. I was living in this little shoebox in Beverly Hills at the time, and it was Beverly Hills.
Oh no! Mine was called the slums of Beverly Hills, just because they call it that, guys. It's not like I didn't coin the term. But it's because it's in Beverly Hills. But it's like these really crappy apartments.
Yeah, really small.
But really small. Mine was like a 1-bedroom.
Oh my God.
With like the kitchen in the living room, which is
the
in
living room.
it's in the bedroom. Like we're like, oh my god,
and
no,
that's totally. Yeah,
I was right at Almont Street, which is
mine was
right.
Peck.
I remember Peck.
Yep, they're probably all in that little.
And you were just like,
but I was like,
done.
I live in Beverly Hills. So.
Oh yeah, I was just say 90210, baby.
Same, but
near
I was
the Wilshire Hotel. Near the Wilshire
90212.
Hotel.
Right near the Wilshire Hotel. Yep, same. How weird we don't know each other. That's so weird. But yeah, I remember I went home to that place and I was like, I think I'm done. I have to go home. I need my family. I need to be home, and I just need to build my confidence back up, because it was just all gone. It was just completely.
And that's what
gone.
LA can do.
Oh, yeah.
It can either again make you.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever really makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But it can make you feel good in the moment.
Right.
And
yeah,
when you're the
moments.
hottest thing.
Oh yeah.
And then when you're not, it's like I mean, the dopamine levels, you're riding on a high and then falling the next day.
Yeah, and you allow it, like, because we were young.
Yeah.
Like, I think now I'd have such my wits about me and some guts. But back then I was like, these people know everything.
Right.
They're Hollywood. They know it all. And I allowed them to dictate how I felt. And I sometimes now I'm like, God, I wish I was me now. But that's life.
Yeah. Do you ever look back at the LA days and go, now where you are, I wish that did work out? Or did you think, I'm actually glad it didn't?
I've really struggled with that. There's moments where I'm like, what if? Because I was so close and signed such a big label, and it was just such a big deal at the time. And so there has been moments where I'm like, I was just like that one moment away. And then I've really had to sit with myself and really understand that I do believe that things just happen for a reason.
Yeah.
I just believe things are written the way they're supposed to. And so I do allow myself to give into
and there's
that.
no real manufactured, I mean, pop stars really anymore, stars like that. It's all from either social media, or you look at like that Chappell Rowan who just came out. She's so good. She's been honestly like busking on the street in Nashville. Like, 4 years ago she was on the street playing the same song, that Pony song, and now she's selling out stadiums. And so I really do believe, I get a lot of DMs, how do I make it? And I go, well, firstly, take that out of your psyche and out of your system, and go, how do I create and enjoy what I'm creating? And then other people will find that. When you're doing it for other people, and you're doing it for fame or money or success or whatever that is, it never really works.
That's the thing. I think that's so true. You have to know why you're doing it. Yeah. And you have to go back to that. And I always go back to the fact that I love to sing. Just in a room, a cappella, with a guitar, with a piano. That's truly my favorite thing to do. And I never was driven by money. I never had any. So I was never driven by it. I never made money up until until just after X Factor. I was like, you make money from doing shows?
Wait, they pay you?
They pay you? I didn't know that. Yeah, truly. And then fame is like, I'm in Australia, fame it's such on a smaller level, right? But it's a different beast, and it comes with it, but it's not at all what drives you.
No. And then you come back and you're okay. So then what makes the decision to do X Factor? Are you sitting with your family and you're watching it and you're a fan of the show and you're like, you know what, I could do that? And why X Factor and not all the other shows that are really just about singing?
Yeah, I loved X Factor because I loved Leona Lewis, and I know she was on the show, and I just thought she's such a vocal powerhouse. I really respected kind of the way the show is. Like, I love how many performances you get, because if you look at something like The Voice, which at the time was the other option, they don't get to perform that often. Whereas X Factor, you perform every single week for like weeks in a row. You do group performances, you have to get your bottom two things, and it's like a freaking aria performance every week. Yeah. You're like, what? When do you ever get that budget? You don't. Yeah. With styling, hair, makeup, you very quickly learn that the corporate world which you perform at after that is not
the same.
Yeah. So I was like, this will be a really amazing experience for me. I just really liked the show. I liked the UK version of it, which is what I really knew. And I just went in my own head. I was like, I'm going to do this. Yep. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I'm going to not do music anymore. Yeah. It really was it for me.
And do you remember that when you're on stage, what does it feel like? You're on stage. There's a lot of people there.
So many
They're like,
people.
okay, it's your turn.
Yep.
Do you sweat? Do
Oh,
you get?
I get stress rashes.
Okay.
So all on my chest and
Oh,
on
no.
my neck.
Oh,
It's so
no.
bad. Like
So you're
red
wearing like a
blotches.
turtleneck.
Yeah, I wore a
Like, don't
high.
show. Yeah, don't show the rash.
Yeah. And I remember I asked my dad because I was at that time I'd moved home. I was living in this tiny apartment in Chinatown in the city with my best friend. We slept in the same bed because we could not afford. I was so broke because I came back here with nothing. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do X Factor. She's like, okay, what are you wearing? And I was like, what do you have? Because we just shared
turtlenecks.
Yeah. I was like, I need something high. And so I wore this high, like little red thing from General Pants because she worked there. So I got 50% off. And then I remember calling my dad and I was like, Dad, I need a diva necklace. Like it needs to be finished off with a diva necklace. So he transferred $20 for me to go to Diva and get a necklace. Yeah, it was like really funny. And then that day I'm like, I'm so glad because it really hid what was going on under here. But I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And all I had to rely on was the fact that I love singing. And I knew, the one thing I knew is that I know I have a good voice.
And you know you can sing.
I know
you're not going to make a fool out of yourself.
Yeah, I knew
and you're going
that.
to choke.
Yeah, I was like, I know I can sing. I can hold a tune. And I'm just going to hope that the nerves kind of keep me going.
Because when you sing and you're nervous, you can go pitchy.
Absolutely.
And you can like all of a sudden your breath is not working as well.
Oh,
and
this is not
like,
the right key. I know. Yes, but I knew that I would somehow hold that together. I was like, that I'll be fine with. And honestly, when I was walking out there, I remember my heart. I was like, people can hear my heart. Surely they can hear it. It was beating so hard. And then as soon as I start singing, like every time, it's what grounds me. So it just goes, it's weird.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you when you sing?
No.
Oh.
No, I actually want to shit my pants. Yeah. So
I understand.
But acting when I'm in a scene and I'm in flow, which is that blackout moment for me, and I really believe what the other person's saying, and I'm in it, and I don't know what's happening, and that happens rarely because a lot of times I just finished a movie. It's very like, make sure you're on that. You're standing on your mark and you're having one tear down the one eye because you have to match the other scene. And it's hard to get in flow, and theater does that, but not as much being in front of the camera. But I will say that when I know I'm going to nail a scene because it's like ingrained in me. It's what I was made for.
Yeah, there's a calm.
Then there's a calm that comes in.
Which is like so amazing because acting, because
you went Home and Away.
I did
for a little minute.
Yes, I did that, and I played Kylie in the NXS Never Terrace part. Actors are unbelievable to me. I just think, and good actors, and you are so good.
Oh, you're so sweet.
No, you are so good, and it's just so different. It's so different. Like when you watch and you're like, oh my God, that's really acting, and just playing someone who's an everyday person is so hard.
Oh, it's so hard.
My gosh.
The hardest thing I actually think about acting is not when you play the character that's, you get to put on the mask and the accent and all the bells and whistles. It's when you actually have to be in something. And I actually think Home and Away was the hardest thing I had to do.
Yeah.
Because you had to be believable.
Yeah.
And it's
so hard.
It's not easy to just say a line believable. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, so
you
true.
think you read the script and you go, well, I know how to say, hey, how's it going? But it doesn't sound
not when you're in it.
No, not when you're in it.
I know.
So to be believable, I think, is the hardest thing to act.
Agreed. I just think acting is just a whole amazing beast.
Yeah.
It's so, and I just am always so shocked that people can make it look so easy. Like you make it look so easy.
You do it in the mirror many times.
Yeah.
How you going? How you going? How you going?
Yeah.
How you going? Until you get it right.
Yeah.
So did you expect the outcome of, you didn't expect it, but was there a little part of you with X Factor? You're like, I could do this. I could go the whole way.
So yeah, I knew that if I kept my head above water, I could maybe make it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got to like the last, like the top 3, because the top 3 that get to do these performances and stuff. If I can make it there, then it's good enough for me. You know, like that's my win.
Yeah.
And then I remember on the night when I got to top 2, I was like, hang on, I didn't really.
This is not what I planned for.
Yeah, totally. And then when I won, the shock. And it's so funny because they show it sometimes when I'm on interviews and stuff, and when I go like this, because that's truly like my shock. I was so shocked. And I remember looking at my mum and dad in the crowd being like, what?
Wait a second, me?
Hang on. Yeah. Yeah, it was an amazing moment.
And what do they give you when you win?
You get a record deal.
Wow.
Yeah, you get a record deal. And for me, I was
and
like,
it's like, oh my God,
yay,
you got your record. I'm
got
going to
it
cry.
I know, oh God.
You got it after all those years.
Oh, totally. And after losing such a big one, never thinking you'd get one again, it was such a great feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because we've been in this business, you and I, for like 2 decades, over 2 decades.
Yeah.
I sometimes ask myself, like, where does that resilience come from?
Yeah, totally.
Because so many people give up.
Yeah.
This industry is tough, and it's not. It goes up and it goes down and it crashes and it soars.
Yeah.
And there has to be a certain type of person that will keep going.
Totally.
And resilience, I believe that the people who make it are the last ones standing.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Because it's so easy to just give in.
Oh my God. It's the easier option to just
So you wake up every day and it's hard sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think? Like, is it just, for me, it's like almost like an autopilot because there's no other choice.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do anything else.
No.
So this has to work, or I don't have a plan B.
Yeah, this is the plan.
So this
B
is the
well.
plan. And was like, I have plan C. I'm like, no, this is the only A plan.
It's A to C.
There's just A. There's just A.
Yeah.
So my resilience comes from there's no other choice. Mm-hmm. So where does yours come from?
I think it's a bit the same. I think like I've had moments where I'm like, what else would I do? And then I'm like, I've dedicated my life to this. This is what I do.
Yeah.
That, and in the last few years, because it just gets harder, like because you gotta keep it a certain.
You get older,
place,
and we
get older.
You gotta stay relevant.
I think in the last few years, it's been do it for you and do it for the people who actually care, because there really are a lot of people that care.
Yeah.
And that's been really hard for me because I feel like as artists we're our worst critic, and I'm like, you know what? There are those people who come to the shows and who buy the records and who write all the time to you on Instagram and who follow you and do. And what about those people? So you're just never going to put something out?
Yeah.
They're going to be so sad. And I really, really make sure that I do things for the people who care rather than the people who don't.
Because all we think about is the people who don't. Well, maybe
Always.
You don't. But
no,
I always,
do.
in my comment section, I'm like, oh, that person said I'm a loser, so I am.
Agreed.
What about all the people who love you?
Oh my God, totally. What about the 50,000 comments that are like, you're great, and you just ignore? That's been a real thing that I've really tried to hold on to. And it's hard because it does happen where you get a message and you're like, but they think I'm terrible. And they're the king of the world.
Yeah. And they know everything in their basements.
Exactly.
Like just putting me down.
Who even are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about really reframing, which takes a lot of effort.
I think the hardest part about entertainment, or at least for me, is when your what you have to make financially is connected to art.
Oh, yeah.
Because the two don't really go hand in hand.
No.
You should never have to, how you pay your bills and how you pay your mortgage and how you pay your car and how you pay your school fees and all those things should never be connected to feeling creative.
Right.
Because then you're made to have to feel creative or you don't eat.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most difficult thing for me about the entertainment business is it's almost like you need a job, so you take a job, but is that the most creatively fulfilling?
Yeah.
And are you really doing it for those people who love you, or are you doing it because you really need to?
Well, you have to put food on the table.
Yeah, turn the lights on.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I think, because obviously financially corporates are a big thing in Australia. They're not really a bigger thing outside of Australia.
They say it a lot here.
They're really big here. And sometimes, most of the time you're singing to people who are eating and really don't want you on stage. And I totally get it. They're like, can you get off? I'm trying to eat.
You're like, this is my car bill.
Exactly. I need to pay my petrol.
Thank you.
Yeah, just fill up my tank. But it's, you roll with the punches in that too. You have to know this is not a time to showcase my new music. This is a time to do covers that people will like to dance to.
And this is a time that I make money to turn the lights on.
Right. And then I can go take that and make, the records I want to make.
Yeah.
So, it's just putting it into perspective, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to let you go soon, but I did want to talk about you lost your mom like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
My mom's my best friend. I'm sure by the way you talk about her, I hear that she was also your best friend.
Oh, yes.
How do you, my biggest fear is loss and grief.
Yeah.
And had to deal with that at such a young age. You were still in your 20s.
I was 27. Yeah.
How do you navigate grief? And is it what people say it is? Is it just this, sometimes I think grief can look very different for many people.
Yeah.
So how were you able to overcome it? Or is it always just a part of you now?
It is always a part of me. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. More so the loss, yes, that's its whole other thing, but the going through watching someone be sick
and that you love
that
so
you
much,
adore, and you just want to take away the pain, but there is no option to do that. And I often say that the worst feeling in the world is not sadness, it's helplessness. It's not being able to help and being like, I would do anything, but I can't. It's out of my control. That was very tough. My brothers are also much younger than me, 7 and 9 years younger. So I'm glad it worked out that way, that my parents had me in advance, because I could, be a bit more of a mother figure for them. Yeah. But it was really, really hard. Like, it's hard when the person that brought you into this world is no longer here. There's questions that you want to ask all the time. And I always suggest to people, like, get a book and really ask questions and write things down, because you will want to go back to that. And I haven't had kids yet, and I really want to. And I think it's going to be really tough, like not having my mum through that. I'm very lucky I have my dad, and I'm very close to my dad. And my dad's such an incredible man. And a lot of people don't have that, like a lot of people lose their mum, that's all they had, or they lose their dad, that's all they had. So I'm really lucky to have had great parents. But I think, I make sure to keep her alive. When I have kids, I'm going to talk about her a lot, and I still talk to her. And I, for whatever you believe in, and some people call me woo-woo, because I'm like,
I'm so woo-woo.
I am too. I love
everything.
It. I just think.
Do you think she can see you?
I really do, and I really sometimes it's so funny. Yeah, and I'll be like, because I've got a puppy who's like my child until I have real kids. But yes, aren't they the best puppies?
What type?
He's a cavoodle.
Cute.
So cute. He's the best. His name's Banksy.
A little golden.
Oh yeah, he's a little brown, like goldeny, chocolatey. He's so cute. But sometimes I'll be walking him, or he'll be doing something, right? And he's quite naughty, which is so cute. And I can hear my mum be like, "Oh, Sammy, look how he does that," but in her voice. And I spoke to a psychic once, and she said, when you hear that, that is them. So just believe it, and don't doubt yourself, because it's your like part of your brain that's like, no, that can't be real. Allow it to be real, even if it's not. Allow it for yourself.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. I really believe. On the day of her funeral, my brothers couldn't read their speeches. They were just too distraught and too upset. And I read their speeches. I read mine. I dealt with the whole day. Like, it was so weird. And it's because I felt like she was here with me, being like, hey, give me a great funeral, okay? I don't want
Make
this
it
to be
fabulous.
A mess. Make it fabulous, yeah. So, yeah, it's just something you'll go through. I hope you don't have to go through it until a much later age, but you go through, and you'll just know how to do it. Something will happen where you just know how to do it.
You're a very special lady.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, that's all right.
I know it's still, I know a lot of people go through so much grief, and I always wonder what that's like. And, and there must be things too that people shouldn't ask.
Yeah, but you know what? That's something that's actually a really big lesson. You can't expect people to know how to respond. And I've had so many weird things, like so many weird questions. People have been strange. They were strange after it. People are weird after it. And I get that too. And you just have to be so okay with whatever, and go home and do your thinking and grieving. And I really do think that it comes down to the person. There's no right way.
Because people also don't know. I've had friends lose loved ones, and you just I just say, I'm here for whatever you need.
That's all you can do. Yeah.
Because you just don't know how to handle it.
No.
And be the support.
All someone needs is like someone. And you just need to be able to call someone. Just don't disappear. Yeah, in hard times, do not go missing, because you just have to be there to be like, I need to come over right now and just cry, or I just need to come over and watch a movie, or I need distraction, or whatever it is. And I'm so, so grateful I had that. I had so many great people that were like, what do you need from me today? Is it a crying day? Is it not a crying
You're like,
day?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, but I just need you to be there. So yeah, company is really key.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Before we let you go, we're going to do 2 quick little segments.
Yes, love it.
One is 2 of your favorite, because I live in both places, so 2 of your favorite Aussie slang words that you kind of use or that you love.
Yeah. Oh, God. Aussie slang. I say reckon a lot.
Reckon. Do you reckon?
You reckon?
Reckon?
I don't know why.
I don't even know
so
what it
much.
means. What is it? Like, do you think?
Do you think? Yeah. It's probably that. Reckon.
Yeah.
And
give me a new one. Like, what's a new one?
God, I'm not cool enough to know the new ones. I don't feel like I know.
Everyone's saying raw dogging. I know that's not Australian, but raw dogging.
Yeah, raw dogging.
Which is
I've heard that.
I don't even know what it means. I think it's like if you don't watch TV, you're just staring at the screen. You're just raw dogging or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but I have heard it.
Yeah.
I actually really don't know. I don't feel like I use Australian
Aussie words.
slang. Well, my parents both weren't from Australia.
Gotcha.
So I feel like it actually wasn't until I started dating my husband.
Yeah.
And he was telling me all these Australian things. And I was like, what are these? He goes, didn't you use that growing up because his family's Australian? And I was like, no, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And he says hilarious things. Like we walk into a place, he goes, oh, we're on here. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, we're on here. Like, it's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Like, what? And apparently his teeth, when he was little, his mum used to say, brush the barrier reefs, which is brush your teeth. I'd never heard of any of this stuff.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, you just gave me 3.
There you go.
There you go. And then the last thing before we leave is your biggest shit show moment.
Oh, my God. I saw this on the interview thing and I was like, what do I say? I've had a few shit shows. God, my life's been a shit show. But I have a good one for you, actually. And I've never told this story before. But I did Celebrity Apprentice a few years ago. Really hard. Really hard. I was like, this is not what I expected. It was really tough. Anyway, we were going to the middle of nowhere because it was a glamping experience. And it was supposed to be glamping, right?
But it wasn't.
But I mean, it wasn't at all. And I'm not a camper or a glamper.
Neither am I.
Oh,
I'm not.
See,
I want to be a camper.
Me too.
I'm just not a camper.
Same.
I'm a camper in a nice 5-star
hotel. Same. It's like good luck out there.
That's nice tiling.
I'm the same.
Plumbing is nice.
Yeah, exactly. I need a hot shower. I need to wash my face.
We've been in the slums of Beverly Hills, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to go back there.
We don't want to go back. I seriously am not a camper, not a glamper. Just don't like it. Totally agree with you. So we're on our way there and we're basically getting told what we're going to be doing, and I'm literally... So we get to the little campsite and we're trying to like put on this beautiful thing and we are shoveling shit, actual shit. And they haven't given us a shovel though yet, so we're doing it with our hands.
No way.
Oh yeah,
what
we've got
shit
gloves,
though?
like cow
shit. It's
and
better than human shit.
Much better, totally.
Which you would see in Los Angeles.
In LA, totally, West Hollywood. Yeah. So I'm literally just shoveling the stuff with my hands. We're like trying
Is
to
it
make
getting in your nails?
Well, we had gloves on.
Okay.
Thank God. I mean, at first I picked something up and I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, gross. These are the days before my bilab too. But I was like, shoveling this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? And we're doing, this experience of trying to make it fun, but it wasn't great. And then I get in the car and we're taken to like these little bathrooms they had.
Yeah.
And there we go. I'm like, oh my God, can we have a shower? They're like, you have 10 minutes for a shower. I'm like, oh my God, that's all I need. So I have this quick shower. There's no body washer in there. You're just kind of like making do. And get out of the shower and they're like, hey, you got to go sleep in this tent with all of you guys. So there's like 9 bodies in this tent. And we're all in this tent.
You don't know each other very well.
We don't know each other very well at all. We're in and out of service. My phone is like, when you get service for seconds, and I get an email from my manager saying, unfortunately, you just lost your deal with Sony. They've just decided to not, I was like...
And you're also like, why are you telling... I always say to my managers and agents, don't tell me bad things when I'm working on something.
Totally. And I'm like, oh my God. And no one at Sony called me. No one at Sony told me. It was like, they were like, we'll tell the manager and expect them. So I've lost my deal. And it's by an email. I've lost my deal.
You're shoveling
I'm
shit.
shoveling shit. And now I have to go back and sleep in this tent and then get up tomorrow and like do the show. I was like, and film and act like nothing's happened. I was obviously so upset.
They should not have told you then.
It was bad. It was really bad. And I was like, what am I gonna, and then like that whole night I did not sleep.
Yeah.
Because I didn't tell anybody, obviously. I didn't really know anyone that well. And my mind's just going like, how am I going to put my next record out? Like, am I going to have my songs back? I'd just written a whole album. It's never going to come out now. Like, all of these things are just like, and is it going to come out to the press? And can I speak about it first? Yeah, it was such a shit show.
Is that the album I Am Samantha Jade?
No, that was actually an album that just never came out. It never came out because they still own the songs.
I believe we are the same person, but it's the amount of like rejections we've both had.
Yeah.
And then had to shovel shit.
Oh my God.
And then, literally. Like, for real. And the amount of times I've been like, I can't do this anymore. And then just go back to work.
Totally. You just put on a smile face. And that day I put on a smiley face and I went back in and I was like, hey, everybody. And then I remember I walked in the door because I texted my husband, but it didn't go through. Because we weren't allowed our phones as well because we're filming all day. Texted him, I'm like, hey, I'm on my way back from wherever I was. And I was like, and I also lost my deal. And he's like, oh, God. Okay, so he'd like cooked for me and he was like, let's sit down. How are you going? I was like, get me a box of tissues. And it was just such a tough day. But yeah, you just then you just get on with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the Australian resilience, though, I will say. I think Aussies have that, get up and get going thing.
I feel like I've had so many moments like that where you're like, it can't get any worse.
You can't get any worse.
And this is.
You've got 2 babies?
2 little ones.
2 girls?
2 girls.
Oh, how cute.
They run me ragged.
Yeah.
They drive me nuts. I'm like 1 second away from going to a mental institution.
Totally.
But they also are the best things ever. So, you know what I mean? Like, if anything's good, it's hard work, right?
Oh my
like
gosh.
Us.
Totally. Like us. Hard work and
you
great.
don't seem like hard work. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Adore you. I hope I run into you one day again on the street and I will be your fan from afar.
Oh, same. Always
slide into your DMs every now and then.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I loved that.
That was fun.
Yeah, we have to hang out.